It's Monday. You know what that means? Another episode of the Fiend Zone here on Horror Fiend TV. Tap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share us with your horror friends. As I mentioned last week, this is the turning point of the show as now we will focus on horror series streaming. We have yet to dive into these uncharted waters when it comes to discussing horror series, and now we will here on the Fiend Zone. Let us take a dip into one of Netflix international horror series. Cracow Monsters is an international thriller with ties to the Polish mythology. It is an 8 episode series, with each episode being about under an hour long. The series is directed by Kazia Adamik and Olga Chadas. In the first episode, we are quickly introduced to the protagonist of the series, Alexandra Alex Wallace, played by Barbara Librick. In the first few scenes, we are quick to find out her personality, and yet something in her past keeps being lit back up. What is it exactly? We will get glimpses later in the first episode, but the question I want to ask you is, what is her interest in the professor? No, not that guy. Nope, not that guy. This charming, mysterious fellow, Professor Jan Zawadzki, played by Andres Chira. But is the interest only one sided, or does she catch his attention? What drives her to seek out the professor? And what is his tie to Lucky, played by Stanislaw Lanowski? Not only does the show establish a point of interest between these two personas and Alex, as the episode continues, we keep unearthing clues and hints. Do these clues bring us into what is yet to come? A lot of stories into the story. Was it accidental, or did they mean to show us the light of things coming in future episodes? Speaking of light, what's up with? I will not answer, but it's definitely an interesting spark in the show. There are more few questions I would like to ask you. Like, for example, what is the program that is offered to select you in the university as tied to Professor Zawadzki? Is it a class of misfits and troublemakers? What did you think of them? Any doubles you would like to mention? The first episode started things off in the right direction, and the ending was just a glimpse of what we are to expect of this new series on Netflix. What did you think of the first episode? Let me know below, comment, and we will discuss your thoughts of the first episode of Cracow Monsters before we dive into episode 2 next week on the Fiend Zone. Don't forget to watch tomorrow's episode of In the next episode of Three Corners of Horror, we will be discussing the Shudder Early Access thriller C4Me. Also, watch last night's episode of The Psychologist Is In with the doctor himself, Joe, as he discusses Hereditary. Share your thoughts of his diagnosis of the film. And in next week's episode of Three Corners of Horror, we will be discussing the 2019 film Beelzebub, currently streaming on Amazon Prime. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. But before I go, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share us with your horror friends. We have a lot coming your way, as well as 2 special guests who will be joining us on future episodes of Three Corners of Horror. Enjoy the rest of the week and remain in the zone. This is GR. I'm out. Peace.